Hey there, folks. Chris McLean back again. And in the studio today, I have Stefaan from Titanology. And Stefaan is the founder of the TITAN Agency Accelerator program. And he's a coach, and he helps business owners free up their time while doubling their business without the stress and overwhelm through Agile principles so that they can scale to the moon, even if they don't spend all their time in the business, which really, that's what makes a business, right? When it works without you in it, and you've got some systems to back you up. I know you're a very systems-focused guy, Stefaan. Thanks for joining me, mate.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for having me. And yeah, systems is a big part of it for sure for any company, I would say. Absolutely.
Yeah, so had to have you on the show because we're reciprocating. You had me on your show. Feels like ages ago. It was probably only a month or so ago. Feels like eons and eons ago, but wasn't that long. So had to reciprocate and get you on the show and sort of find out all the good stuff about you. So take us through how you're coaching agencies now, but your path to that's actually quite unique and different from a lot of coaches out there. Take me through how have you founded Titanology? Have you sort of got to this place in your life?
Yeah, it's actually a crazy story if I think about it. It really started from it when COVID started, actually, like last year, when everybody needed to make that shift. And I had to make a shift too. I was in corporate for over a decade and was doing a lot of the systems. Like I was an Office 365 consultant, so I did a lot of migrations and helping set up business processes within the tool Office 365. But then when COVID hit, every project just stopped and I had to pivot what I needed to do. I'm a freelancer at that time. So the first ones that are getting laid off are freelancers. So I needed to take a look at what can I do here. And I was looking for creating my own business. I'm an entrepreneur by heart. I've in the past I've had like a brick and mortar computer store. Even I did web design for a year or so. So I did a lot of this stuff already as an entrepreneur. And so my idea was really, okay, let's go back again to my roots and let's create a digital agency, a marketing agency, because there was a lot of demand for that. And I really liked the idea about marketing and digital marketing. And I really wanted to create something out of that. But for sure, it's not an easy road. You know, a lot of people think it's a quick fix or it's a quick get rich quick fix. It's not like that. And
no, to get rich slow.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe get rich slow scheme.
And that's also where you have to be careful who you trust and who you take advice from, I would say, because there's a lot of coaches out there that help you start up, but there's a lot of the information that is left out. There is a lot of information that is not being talked about, and that's where it went for me. When you go deeper and deeper into what you're doing and building up a company, especially like digital marketing agency, you see a lot of things that you will only see if you're in it and if you start doing it. So at a certain stage, I was thinking, okay, this is not really something that is what I enjoy doing the most, but I want to use my experience and my knowledge to help others avoid the mistakes that I have made, and also incorporate the knowledge that I had from corporate, because a lot of the knowledge that I had from there, I can apply to any kind of businesses, especially now marketing agencies, using the Agile principles. And that's when I was really transitioning into the coaching space as well. Like, why don't I give my knowledge to people who need it the most? And make sure that they can grow and scale their company in a good way with the good foundations. Even the principles from corporate can work in a smaller setting, and the Agile principles can work everywhere. So that's why I also transitioned into the coaching. I still have the marketing agency running on the background and other ventures as well. But the coaching is where I put my focus on right now. So
So you talked about sort of coaches that don't necessarily have that deep experience having built and run agencies. Did you bring coaches on to at that start when you're trying to grow your agency? Did you have that experience with coaches, or it's just what you've seen in the market?
You're looking left and right if you're starting something up, and this is true for everybody. You want to get all the information you can get to grow your business. So I took advice from the wrong people. I took advice from the right people, but every time that I onboarded on a coaching program myself, there was always something missing. Because, like I said, they don't always tell you the whole story. It's almost impossible to tell you the whole story unless you do one-on-one coaching. And that's what I didn't do at the beginning because it's really expensive as well. But I see the value in one-on-one coaching for sure, because that's where you can go much deeper into the knowledge of the person that you have in front of you. So I would say I have learned a lot. I mean, also from other coaching programs, even though they didn't tell the whole story, I learned a lot. But right now, you can see after a couple of months, and the pandemic is still going on, there's a lot of youngsters coming into the market as well, starting up as marketers. And they are struggling because they start out like they are good at Facebook ads or anything, but they are not really the business owners yet. And I feel, and that's just my perception, I feel that a lot of the coaching programs out there really focus a lot on getting your sales done and getting your leads generated as soon as possible. But they don't really talk about, okay, what will you do with all those customers once you have them?
How do you fulfill that pipeline?
Yeah. How do you make sure that you have your foundation set up correctly as an owner so you can actually enjoy doing all of that business instead of getting overworked all the time?
Yeah, because it changes pretty quickly, right? Once you, as you say, I think you bang on those. I mean, a lot, again, just to go kind of high level and generalize, a lot of people that start agencies are practitioners, right? They're the coder, they're the developer, they're the designer, the graphic artist, and then they maybe start freelance and they shift in, they get some staff, they scale, now they've got an agency. I think you're right that the barrier to entry in that is super low. We talk about this a lot on the show. I think if there was one theme, if you look back over the almost 60 past shows, a very common theme is that barrier to entry is very low, and there's a lot of people coming into the market that don't necessarily have the qualifications to, like you said, you can go out and get leads. I can run Facebook ads. I can do organic. I can get some clients. But then I'm posting in Facebook groups going, how do I deliver these services? How do I run these campaigns? How do I measure? So they're very focused on that front end. I think you're definitely onto something there. They're very much on that. Get clients, get them in, get them sold. Then they're assuming that you know how to deliver, which that can start to damage the industry a bit, right? When you're getting people that are onboarding clients and then just not being capable of delivery, or just not giving them reports, right? People work with these people for 6 months, don't get any reporting, and they go, I'm paying you a couple grand a month and I don't really know where the money's going. So that seems to be happening. Do you sort of see that happening in the market as well?
Yeah, definitely. And I think it gives digital marketing a bad name, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
It's not that they want to do they don't start out trying to trick people, let's say. But it's more like they don't know that there's more to it than just getting customers, right? There is the fulfillment, and sure, you can outsource these things, but how do you make sure that you get the right kind of people to help you with this outsourcing? How can you lead these people? So creating a different mindset, not only from the solopreneur mindset and doing it all by yourself, but you have to think further than just you. And once you start onboarding even a VA, once you do that, you become a business owner.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it will not work. You will burn out, or your customers will not be happy and they will drop off. And then you have to go back to square one again because you don't have customers. You need to get customers. And it's a never ending cycle. And the people that I talked to these last couple of days, they all have the great idea about starting it up, and they know what they are doing, but they're so much into doing a lot of stuff at once and then try this and then try that and then maybe this will work, and then they have a customer, they drop everything for that customer, which is also not a good idea. So having a systemized foundation, like a really good foundation where you put in the right kind of systems, the right kind of mindset, the right kind of leadership, that's where you have to look at. That's what you need to build to make it something that can last longer than a couple of months.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like a lot of people get sold on the Instagram version of an agency, right? You earn 7 figures in 90 days. As much as you like to think that people don't fall for that stuff, that still there's people selling that stuff, and people will buy into greater agency from 0 to 50K a month in the next 3 weeks. And they go, great, that sounds great. And they can do all that front end, and they get clients, maybe they can service, but suddenly now I've got 10 clients. Now I've got to bring people in. Now I'm a manager. Now I've shifted into entrepreneur mode. I'm a manager. I've got to deal with relationships. And like you said, now, whether I implement systems or not, I now have systems in my business. This is sort of systems. I know this is a big part of what you do in the Agile process and how we can use that to build agency. But I tend to think that when you have a business, you have systems. It's kind of like habits, right? Whether you have good habits or bad habits, you have habits. It's how intentional about them, whether you drive them to a good place or they're just kind of unconscious and they take you to a bad place. Systems are a lot like that, right? If you have some sort of a system that's giving you some sort of a result, if it's an unintentional system, it's a bad system, but there's still some kind of a system there until you get deliberate and go, what actually do I want this thing to do to give me the result every single time that I want to get from it?
Yeah, and that's where indeed the Agile principles come in play, where even if you have some systems in place, or you think you have, and you think they are good already, you need to keep looking at them and reassess if they are really performing well, if they are streamlined, or otherwise you come into a situation where you have systems that are just not efficient and you lose time and money just by having those systems in place sometimes. That's also where we need to look at. So the Agile principles, or the Agile way, if you want, really looks at it week by week. That's really the core principle. Like, continuous improvement happens on a daily base, on a weekly base, on a monthly base, but really creating a habit of weekly improvement and having that focus on your week is immense. And that's where also a lot of people go wrong, where they have a 90-day goal, which is great. You want to double your business, for example, fine, but how will you do that? How will you make sure that you get there? So you need to break it down in weekly goals, and then you need to break it down in daily goals. And then it's about what you talk about, Chris. It's about creating that daily flow as well, like getting in the flow of what you need to do, so you're actually being productive on those things and that you can improve time and time again. But if you don't put the right focus on the right things from the start, even if you have the best intentions, you will go in the wrong direction eventually.
Yeah. So that catch-22, right? You can be really, really effective at doing the right. You can really, really effectively run a bad system.
Yeah.
Right? So really good. So for people that may not know what Agile is, can you give us like an overview of what is Agile compared to like a waterfall methodology or a more traditional kind of project management model? what is Agile, and why does it work for agencies so well?
Yeah, Agile is really a methodology that you can use, especially if you're starting out your agency and there's a lot of uncertainty. That's when Agile works the best, because Agile is about continuous improvement, like we said, and it's also about being able to adapt quickly to the changes. If there's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of moving parts in your agency, you don't know where it's going, you don't know how it's going to be in a couple of months from now, and then having that weekly focus on specific parts and being able to adapt to that is important. So that's where Agile really comes in. So it's about adaptability, but it's also about transparency. Having transparent overview of what's happening. If you have a team as well, everybody should be on board what you're doing. Everybody should know how the business is going to be run, what is going to happen, how are the systems going to be put in place. Everybody needs to have its voice as well. So it's not about planning something and then after 3, 4, 5 months, then looking back and, oh, damn, it didn't work. No, it's really being agile, right? Every week we look at the numbers. Every week we look at improving stuff. And we talk to everybody within the team to make sure that we are on the right track. Because if you have a team that helps you out, in the end, it will also be the team that is going to do a lot of this stuff. So if you don't include other people into this that help you out in the business, then it won't work, because you cannot force anything on other people. That doesn't work. So Agile is a way where you have a lot of possibilities to quickly change direction if it's not working, but also having that open field, the open-mindedness that you need, where other project management methodologies are pretty rigid in what they do. And you have to plan months ahead, and then after a couple of months, maybe you can change or something. But that's not really, especially in the digital marketing agency world, it doesn't work like that. Agile can be applied to the business, but also on systems, specific parts, departments. It can be applied everywhere.
So I guess those bigger, like waterfall and those longer term project management kind of systems, they came out of like McDonald's and IBM and BHP, and they can plan 5 years in the future, because it's
exactly
a digital marketing agency. Twitter's up this day, your Facebook ad account's banned tomorrow, you're over here, a client's account, you've lost access over here. So it's a really good analogy. It's pretty much like running Facebook ads, right? That's something that probably a lot of people can understand, that sort of iterative nature of, let me test the headline, let me test some images, let's do some split testing, some A/B testing on the copy, let's see what's working. Okay, that didn't work for this day, rather than going, here's my ad, I'm going to run it for a year and see how it goes. So that it's that kind of iteration, right? It's that sort of an approach.
And another thing that I want to add to that is Agile also allows you to not being perfect. And because also what I see is a lot of people are so perfectionists or are procrastinating because they think they need to be perfect before they put something out there. It can be an ad, it can be some social media content, it can be a video, whatever it is. So this is also where Agile comes into place. Where you talk about iterations, which is right. So it's also iterations, but also increments. So you start with something that is not perfect, but at least you can start with something so you can get feedback from your audience, from your customers. And with that feedback, you can adapt again. Because the longer that you wait for feedback from your customers, the more time you're just wasting on guessing. And if there's one thing you shouldn't be doing at the beginning, is guessing if it's something that your customers actually want, right?
Yeah. So is it sort of the language you talk about MVP and minimal viable? That's language. Does that come out of Agile? Is that terminology that comes out of Agile?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Which is what you're talking about, right? So here's something that's 60, 70, 80%. I think it's right. Let's kind of throw it out there and see what people think, and we can fix it. Let's get it out, fail fast if we're going to fail. Let's fail fast, change it, get the feedback, fix it on the fly. And if I'm not wrong, Agile kind of comes out of the tech space, right? It comes out of Silicon Valley.
Comes from the development world.
Yeah. So rather than trying to build here's the 100-page app, let's do page 1, then add the next button, and then sort of build the feature list over time, rather than doing all 200 features at once.
And also like making sure that every week or every sprint, they call it sprints within Agile, that after each set of period of time, it can be a week, 2 weeks, that you have something that works, right? And where it comes from the development world, of course, it's about a working product, even if it doesn't have all the features. But if you translate that to digital marketing, it can be a content piece, it can be a blog post, it can be a website page that works. People can read your blog, or people see the ad, or people can go to your website, but it just doesn't contain every little detail that you wanted to add at the first step. And that's fine. That's totally fine. I mean, it's better to have something which is not perfect than nothing and wait for it until you think it should be perfect. And again, it's about making sure you don't lose time and money, right? With Agile, you can move faster. You go faster, you get more things done, and you get faster feedback, so you can, again, adapt. But that's the whole thing. So within a marketing agency, there's a lot of things that you can apply this to, a lot of things. And that's where I guide them through, and I try to educate them, because a lot of people don't know what Agile is. So I don't try to sell Agile to them. It's really about streamlining your processes. That's what it's about. Streamlining your business through these principles.
It's good bullet. So here's the foundational principle. Here's the first principles of how to manage a business, how to run projects, how to iterate and sort of build systems and process into the business. Here's the principle, but let's put your personality, let's put your specific circumstance sort of on top of that, and let's customize it for you. But Agile is quite customizable too, right? You can just, because you're changing it all the time, it's going to kind of evolve as the business evolves over time.
100%. Yeah, it's pretty customizable, and it's different for everybody. Some people need more of the front end, like with lead generation and with sales maybe, and other people need more the delivery. I'm working now with a marketing agency that does webflow development, and they bring in customers without a problem, so there's no issue there. But the real problem lies within the delivery process, because they're missing deadlines every single time, and they're spending too much time on development or on design, and they just can't figure out why. And then we need to take a closer look at that process and use the Agile principles to apply some changes, see if it works, and also create some transparency with the team and ask the team why it's not working, and implement the changes that they suggest. And from there, after a couple of weeks, you can clearly see where is the time wasted, what do we need to do, and then it's about applying it. And that's also something where some companies go wrong. They know what they need to do, but they are afraid to do it, because it will change things. It will change maybe the process,
change the customer relationship as well a bit.
Yeah, exactly that. And people don't want to change, so it's not always that easy, but it's a necessary thing to do if you want to keep growing. If you're serious about your business, then this is the work that you need to do.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. People don't like to change, but I think it's so important with the business, particularly at that early stage. That you got to have that willingness to fail, even though we don't want to set out to fail. We never want to have the intention of, I'm going to throw this out because I think it's shit and I think it's going to fail. You're always putting something up that you believe is right, that you believe is going to work. If it fails, you ideally want to do that quickly and in a way that it's not going to be catastrophic.
Exactly.
Right. So a lot of businesses will wait. They'll fail very few times, but when they fail, it's catastrophic because there's so much involved in that failure. They haven't sort of learned how to adapt to failure and how to even just have the mindset, right, to come back from failure. But if you kind of do it in an iterative nature and you learn sort of, I'm going to put it out. I understand it might not be right. I'm willing to get feedback. I'm willing to take that on board, make the changes, maybe fail again, fail forward. It's a whole different mentality. And that reduces, from my perspective, I'm sure from yours, that reduces stress and overwhelm and burnout, because you're going into it knowing that there's kind of failure baked in. There's almost a redundancy there already. So, and you're learning how to fail and stay positive about it, which is a whole different, much better mindset to be in as a business.
Yeah, 100%. You're spot on there. Like, having that mindset is so important. I mean, just thinking about like putting something out there that you feel is not perfect, but being fine with that. For a lot of people, that's just like, what? No way.
For creatives, it's like the worst thing you can tell someone.
Yeah, but it creates more stress to not do it, you know. And it's also about, you better, you know this as well. Like, if you want to avoid burnout as well, you need to make sure that your mindset is in the right kind of place, and that you're not so worried all the time about what other people might think about what you're doing. It's, like I said, it's better to get more feedback as much as you can to help you out than to fear feedback, you know. And even if you, for example, if you have a team out there as well, they might fear feedback from the customer, and this puts a lot of stress on them because they rather hide and cover the mistakes, for example, than just to get that constructive feedback. But this is a lot of stress on their personality, on their mindset, and this creates stress upon stress upon stress, and this creates stress for the owner itself as well, because things get uncovered that he didn't know about. All of that thing come above if you stay that closed mindset, and if you're based on fear, it will not work.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point. Yeah, very, very good point. That if you don't set these things up the right way and set that kind of organizational mindset, right, you sort of bake that into your. Yeah, you might have employees that stuff up and they try to cover it up. They try to maybe delete an email chain, or they try to say, "Oh, I didn't know about it." And that stuff can happen if you don't have that sort of open, honest communication style and have that. So that methodology of, look, it's okay to fail. We want to fail because that gives us real world feedback, and we can use that, right? We can use that feedback to help that client out, to get new clients and what we're doing. Yeah, really, really important point.
Yeah,
really good stuff. Yeah.
I do a couple of team training within my program. So I get the team together and we just do simple exercises where they have to come up with what are your strengths, for example, or what were your mistakes the last week. As a team, you have to come up and tell your mistakes. So that kind of an exercise is already, like, for some people, like opening their eyes of, oh, wait a minute, this is how my team works, or this is what has happened. And that starts the conversation between the team and the owner and everybody within the team. And this same kind of exercise, you can do this with your customer. I think, like, including your customer within all of this will create a better culture for your company, and your customer will be feeling so involved in the whole process, they will become super fans, right? Instead of you trying to minimize the communication with the client because you fear that they will give a lot of feedback and they will be angry or whatnot. No, just include them in everything that you do. Increase the amount of feedback that you get from the customer, so you don't need to fear that anymore, and they see how you work as a company, as a team. They feel good about it. And customers that feel good will tell everybody about your company.
Yeah, and they'll stay longer, right? And they'll be happier, they'll pay on time, all that kind of stuff becomes an emergent property of communication, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Open, honest communication makes everyone feel good. You try to hide stuff that people don't feel good. There's a bad energy, right? People don't feel good about that.
And it's crazy how many people don't do it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's part of this whole thing of a business, right? I'm a business and I've got to protect the business, and there's a whole lot of stuff that comes in that, and there's a whole that's why business is so interesting, and particularly agency, because there's so much mindset, there's so much junk and crap that comes out when you get into these situations. So it's really important to tease this stuff out and have someone like yourself that can sort of help you through that process.
And you too, Chris. I mean, like mindset and being in the flow state is also so important. I mean, the whole thing here, I think we need to convey here to people who are listening is it's not only about getting customers. It's not only about being the best Facebook ad specialist. It's much more than that. And if you're open and willing to embrace that, then you're on a good track to build something really good, really big for yourself. If you are even scared or don't want to be dealing with that, then sorry, but you shouldn't be owning a business.
% right. It's a whole different game. Right? Business is a whole different game, and a lot of people don't have the expectation of what it actually means to have a business, to be a business owner, to shift from that freelancer, that creative that loves doing the art, loves doing the craft, to shift from that to business owner. It's a different game. It's an exciting game. It can be enjoyable, but it can also go the other way if you don't manage it properly. So I absolutely agree with what you're saying, and I think that's a really important point, that having the expectation up front of what this actually means for you, and what do you and what you want from it as well. Do you actually want a 7-figure agency? Do you actually know what that is going to mean for you?
Yeah.
Right. Are you the type of person that wants to do that is capable of that? Or are you happy doing a high 5-figure business, right? Or a low 6-figure business where you can do 10. It's a big living. You got to make those decisions and sort of understand the landscape, as we were saying right up the front. Really understanding that business and agency isn't just about getting clients in and doing the ads. It's everything else that comes along with the business side of things. Yeah. Great stuff, Stefaan. I know you've got a bunch of people you're working with. You're doing great stuff out there. If people want to connect with you, find out more about you, where's the best places for them to come and drop by and connect with you?
So you summed it up really well here on the screen. If they go to my website, stefandevreese.com, they will find all the information about me and what I do, what I can do for them. Also on Facebook, LinkedIn, everything is in there. So go check it out and give me a follow.
Awesome, fantastic. And we'll drop all those links in the show notes as always, so you can smash the button and go connect with Stefaan and find out all his good stuff. Get some agile processes built into your business. Get those systems in early so you can really properly grow and scale your own.
Perfect. Absolutely.
So all to chat, mate, and I look forward to staying connected as always. Go check out Stefaan's Facebook group as well. Go check out Titanology. Go check out everything that he's doing. Very cool cat, doing some cool stuff out there for you agency folks. So always great chatting, mate. Thanks for swinging by the show. I'm glad we got to reciprocate and get you on over here.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Chris. It was awesome. Thank you.
Pleasure, mate. Pleasure. Thanks for everyone for tuning in all around the podcast universe. If you're catching this on YouTube, give us a like, give us a share, give us a subscribe, all that good stuff. Smash the hearts, smash the likes, share it around. Wherever you're watching this, drop us a review. Give us some feedback. I'd love some feedback on what you think about the episode. So, hey, I can improve them as well.
Exactly.
Thanks for dropping by.
Thank you. See ya.
Thanks for catching you soon. Cheers.